Is there something wrong with me? 2 summers ago was my first experience. I was dropping someone off, and as we're getting close to Opie's house I had like a flash of what person was going to say when he got out car, so I tried to change this by not parking, and I started talking about something pointless just do. Opie didn't get a chance. Didn't stop him, he started to say it as he's getting out. What's freakier is that he had to rush to get the whole sentence in due to me pulling off as he's halfway out the car. Has happened to me 2x this week, most recent was last night. Anyone have clue what it could be? Getting a checkup already on list, so please don't comment anything like that. Edit, before the instances happen a kind of dread feeling falls over me. Little forest creature, hello. This is my first time posting in this sub and on Reddit in general. I'd like to share a photo with you and hear your thoughts. So, for the context, I was picking mushrooms in the nearby forest. I live in Finnish countryside, so the forest was a big one with not a lot of people living in the area. I thought the forest looked nice, so I took some photos. Later at home I took a closer look and I noticed something weird in one of them. It kinda looks like some weird looky creature sitting on the branch. I shared a zoomed picture in the comments with imager link. It's a mess of pixels, so could be just a weird shaped stick or something. Anyways, I wanted to share this with you. Man in bush. So it is 6:30 at night in Phoenix, Arizona. My wife and I are walking our dog. A man is walking in the opposite direction of us on the other side of the street. He then crosses the street onto our side and starts walking in our direction. When I turn and see, and he quickly turns around and goes the original way he was walking. He then proceeds to walk behind some bushes behind a wall and starts peeking at us. As soon as I see this, I start to confront the man. As soon as he knows that I'm not going to back down, he takes off from the bushes and starts walking fast down the street away from us. I proceed to then chase him out of the neighborhood. Fucking weird. Man tried to break into my house. I'm not sure if I'm overreacting a little, but this was super creepy. This morning at about 3 a.m. my roommate and I, both young women, watched a man park at the end of our driveway and come up to our door. He was shining a flashlight around, looking up and down and all around our door. He then walked over to the neighboring house and got back in his car and drove away. We were absolutely terrified, and I'm trying to find any reasonable explanation other than potential robbery / something worse. I believe he saw our security camera and that's why he left, but I'm scared he was just scoping it out and is going to come back. Just a strange encounter at a strange hour. Me and my BF always see flashes of legs running across the road in front of us at night. We can't figure this out. It happens only at night and we live in some of the backroads of Washington state. If it is later than 8 p.m., if we have our brights or even low beams on, sometimes we see flashes of what looks like people with no torsos running across the road. Sometimes they wear black pants, jeans, sometimes it's more of a shadow, sometimes we both notice certain types of shoes like white Reebok and Nikes mostly. It always happens on Highway 507 for context. We don't have anything in the car or nothing reflecting to make it look like just the legs of a person flashing across the road very quickly. Also, I can't explain why we both see it and can describe the same clothing or shoes on the legs. This used to happen to us in Kentucky, but not as much as it does here.
My 8-year-old cousin accused me of spying on her while she showered. My 17M family is having a reunion at our house, and my cousin, 8F, often lies to get people in trouble. Yesterday, I had to use the bathroom and accidentally walked in on my cousin in the shower. I apologized and left, but when she got out, she told everyone that I was spying on her. Several of my family members believed her, while others knew that she was lying. Since they were staying at our house for a week, I have to spend the rest of the time in my room, not leaving unless I had to use the bathroom. It's aggravating to have almost half of my family think I'm a creep and get punished for it. What should I do? Edit, I didn't hear the shower running because my hearing aids had died and I didn't have any more batteries.
My dead grandma won't visit me. Please respect my post. My grandma died around November 2022, and half of my relatives got visited by my grandma, even my parents. Apparently she was giving them advices for me, don't eat .. Don't stay up late, etc. After my grandma died, my parents bought me a new phone, and I stayed up very late at that point. And one time I fell asleep while my phone was charging and my earphone still on my ear. I heard faint noises of Dad's footsteps and he woke me up, and scolded me. My grandma told him to wake me up because I was still using my phone as I was asleep. Now I'm wondering why I don't get a visit from my grandma. I have a bottle of holy water in my room to protect me from evil spirits, but why isn't she visiting me? My eyes water every time I talk about something I can't explain that seems paranormal. Anyone know why anything paranormal forces me to cry? Not sob or bawl my eyes out, my eyes just water and a few tears fall. I try to avoid superstition or basing my life around it, but can never escape this feeling that comes once or twice a year if something very strange happens. I've read it could be me being subconsciously scared and naturally reacting, but I don't cry when I'm scared. If a horror movie or haunted house or anything like that scares me, it's nothing compared to this feeling and does not make me want to cry at all. A friend recently told me that this was a way to see what's really supernatural and what isn't. That me crying is maybe some sort of signal. Has anyone ever heard of this? Can it be explained in a way other than agreeing with my friend? First time here, sorry if I did anything wrong with the post. My king dog 2 days ago I was sick so I stayed home from school. I was in my bed upstairs watching videos on my phone and my door opened on its own just enough for my dog's head to fit through. I have a bunk bed so I could not see the bottom 2 feet of my door and so I said no, Milo. No response so I said Milo, absolutely not. No response, just to tell you guys, but so far I have told you 5 seconds of this interaction, then I leaned up to look at what I thought was my dog and you guessed it. Bell bell bell, no dog. I then jump out of my bed and slam the door shut. Later my mother came home to a smashed window, no dog, and the attic door open. My mom saw the devil when my mom was little, about 4 years old. She was at her grandpa's house and woke up when the sun was barely coming out. She decided to go play outside. She opened the curtains to look outside and suddenly a little troll ran across the yard and stopped. She said it turned around and looked at her. She said it was as tall as her and he had a wrinkled face and a goatee with horns on its head. It pointed at her and started talking gibberish and started dancing with its arms in the air. She got scared and ran inside and hid under her bed. 40 years later I'm showing her a TikTok about the devil's Bible and it showed an accurate picture of the devil and she said that was exactly how the creature looked. My mom's entire life was filled with misfortune. I wonder if whatever she saw cursed her for seeing it. My mom's story snuck into an abandoned warehouse and saw a ghost so my mom and her friend we'll call Wendy drove down to an abandoned storage facility. They walked down and there were 3 buildings. Building A, B, and C. They checked buildings A and C but they were locked. They made their way to building B and they opened the door. It was super muddy inside so they went home and got some boots on. They entered building B and the door closed on them. They cracked the door open so that it was slightly ajar. They walked around and saw an apparition in the corner of their eye. It was tall and dark, it had a pitch white face with red dots on it. They couldn't make it out, it stared at them and then disappeared. You don't have to say twice that they ran out of there super fast. My teacher saw the Michigan Dogman, so for some context I live in West Michigan and we have this cryptid called the Michigan Dogman. It is said to be a wendigo in the shape of a humanoid dog creature, a black werewolf with matted fur and floppy ears and a floppy dog face that haunts West Michigan. It became a running gag. When I talked to tourist customers at work, I'd always scare them with the Dogman story. One day my teacher talked to my sister who said he saw the Dogman. He and his dad were camping during 1997. He and his dad went to go get firewood. As they went off into the woods they saw it standing on 2 legs, watching them silently. It went off soon after it saw them. He hasn't gone camping since. Naked homeless man. This happened a week ago. Background, I live in Tampa. My home backs up to a huge nature preserve. Getting dressed for work at 0530, I walk past my front door to hear someone trying the handle. My house is always locked up for the night, native of Atlanta. Thinking I imagined it, I grabbed my phone and checked the video doorbell. Nope, guy's wearing a blanket over him. Terrified, I flipped on the floodlights. Watched him leave the porch to go around the house. I called the cops on my landline and continued watching. He came back into view and he is completely naked. Now, my husband is elderly and in no shape to confront anyone. Finally the cops show up and dragged his tripping ass off. Still went to work and put in my full shift. Odd desert experience. A few nights ago I was outside of Lovelock, Nevada doing some stargazing as part of a multi-day road trip. I pulled over at a turnout by Pitt Road and Lone Mountain Road and took some time to get my eyes accustomed to the dark so I could see the stars better. A few minutes and I noticed that there was this constant distant flash over the mountain looking south that looked very similar to faraway lightning strikes. I pulled up the weather radar as well as lightningmaps.org and there were no thunderstorms in the entire state. In fact, the nearest one was in Oklahoma. I kept watching it for a few minutes, stumped as to what it could be. I realized that it's coming from the exact direction of the Tonopah test range. The only problem is that it's 200 or so miles to the south. Perhaps they were testing something there? I'll never know. Paranoid woman accusing me of taking her picture. I was waiting for my bus an hour ago and because it's a really gorgeous day outside I decided to take some selfies before my bus came. As I was taking a second picture of myself, a woman came up to me and accused me of taking her picture and recording her on my phone, which I did not. But she didn't believe me, so I had to actually show her proof on my photo gallery that I did not take a picture or record her at all. Why do people get so paranoid? Hell, I won't lie, I was kind of scared when she started coming up to me and accused me of taking a picture of her. Has anyone else had an experience like this?